Ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good evening, everyone. This is the agenda for this is the instructional committee meeting. Today is June 7th, 2022, and the time is 6:29 p.m. We're present in the Bill Johnson SAC, room number 2. Agenda, any public comments?
Yes, sir. We actually have one public comment from Mr. David Perez, and he's going to be commenting on the insurance items that were discussed earlier.
Good afternoon, Mr. Perez.
Good afternoon.
I saw you getting here earlier.
Yeah,
In traffic.
I thought it was at the main, that's why I was a little bit late. It's going to be after the fact, but anyway.
Makes two of us.
My name is David Perez, President of United CTA, and I'm a member of the Employee Benefits Committee, and I wanted to, first of all, extend, on behalf of United CTA, extend our condolences to Ms. Alisa Flores Oliveros and her family. I would like to, I probably didn't put it in there in my haste, but I would like to start off by asking, I know Lila's going to be working her magic about raises and stuff like that. I think we deserve it. We've been working above and beyond for a while, and hopefully we can get something. Now, as far as insurance, I want to thank the board. You know, the last few years, we haven't had any rate increases. The district has been supplementing us to the tune, the past 3 years, and I think what they projected for the next year, to the tune of $20 million. And that shows their commitment. And our rates have not gone up. And then you had this $50 a month increase, $600 a year, to the contribution to the insurance. That really says a lot about the commitment of the board to the employees and such. Again, you can compare, I've said it like a broken record, you can compare our insurance to down the street, and ours is just a lot better, a lot less expensive, better coverage. And again, that's the EVC, that's the board, administration. And again, you know, we thank you. Our voluntary benefits, they're not going up again. So again, we've tried to help the employees as much as possible, ease the burden on them. So again, thank you all very, very much for what you've done for us. And like I said, Lila, work your magic. Thank you.
Thank you, David. All right. Agenda item number 2, for information only, A, proposed changes to the 2022-2023 Technology User Guidelines, Bus Riders Handbook, and Student Handbook.
Good evening, Mr. Montemayor, Mr. Gonzalez, Mr. Trotman, and members of the audience. Annette Bettis, Director for Discipline Management. And we just want to share with you some of the changes that our department directors and coordinators made with regards to the handbook. The first one is the Bus Rider Handbook. Our transportation department is recommending that if a child does not use a particular bus stop on 3 consecutive days, they're going to either temporarily or permanently do away with that bus stop. It can be reinstated, but the parent would have the obligation to contact the transportation department. We also have some information included now in our student handbook. Specifically, we've added an award section, high school A and B honor roll. Those are new to that division, and that was submitted by our high school department executive director. We also have a change to transfers. Transfers will only be valid when a child moves from their designated attendance zone school to another one, only through the highest grade level. And then the parent and the child will have to apply again. So they will apply as incoming 6th graders and incoming freshmen so that they can continue in that feeder. We have promotion and retention changes. Children are now required to receive accelerated instruction if they fail STAR, 3rd, 5th, and 8th grade level. And graduation activities, we did want to emphasize that speaking roles are only afforded to or provided to those individuals who have not been removed to a JJAAP or STEP Academy. We have a section there now on safety drills, how we are going to continue conducting our secure lockdown evacuate drills. We have reunification as far as parent protocols, should a reunification drill or actual event take place. And we have a paragraph on safe and supportive program, which talks about our behavioral threat assessments and the fact that we do provide continuous monitoring and student guidance after we do those assessments. And contact tracing will continue, has been in place for 2 years now, and we will continue. Our nurses are providing the contact tracing. And pretty much that covers the most significant changes in our handbook, our bus rider handbook, as well as our technology use guidelines.
So on the bus rider handbook, that change regarding the 3 consecutive days, is there a particular reason why it's 3 days and perhaps not following maybe a 5-day, you're COVID positive, so you're going to be out for 5 days, or any particular reason why it's 3?
The Transportation Department just recommended 3, but we can certainly review that. I know I saw Mr. Aranda here earlier today,
yeah.
and I think that's a great comment. Perhaps we can consider that to be out 5 consecutive days. This is all internal, so we can
Okay.
certainly make changes without a full board approval. It's just an informational item.
And so, on the modifications, on the transfers from elementary to middle school, it used to be where if you were in the feeder pattern, and that's where your brothers and sisters were at, and so your friends were all at, you just automatically were kind of going from, let's say, Nye Elementary to United, or, well, no, that would have to be, let's say, from, Washington Middle to Alexander High School or something. But if you were already in that feeder pattern at the elementary, you wouldn't be kicked out or have to reapply. So now they're going to have to reapply at every single level.
That is what the department is proposing. Of course, we can certainly discuss it with upper management. That would be quite a bit of parents and submitting new requests.
They've always reapplied.
Have they?
Yes, like every year we reapplied, however, they were like almost guaranteed.
Right.
In that
It was kind of
formality.
a strong factor in,
Correct. So they've always reapplied, so we're doing
Okay.
that right
then
now.
I misunderstood. So, okay.
But for the most part, we've honored all of them, basically. The ones, if you want to see the pattern at 9, and then you're coming into United Middle, and you belong to Trotman, those are usually for the most part, so long as you have good standing, good grades, good, attendance.
Conduct, yeah.
Then those were honored. And so those are the ones we continue to honor.
Because I know there's a lot of feeder patterns, a lot of middle schools that are really packed. And so, that our principals are becoming really, delicate about, who they accept and who they don't accept, so.
It sounds like we may need to clarify this paragraph so that parents don't think they have to reapply. Some are automatically honored, and some may need to reapply. We'll go ahead and look at that. I appreciate your feedback.
Thank you. Okay. Appreciate it, Ms. Pettis. Agenda item number 3, approval of United ISD's appraisal calendar for the 2022-2023 academic calendar year. It's already been done? Okay. And 3B, first and final reading of Board Policy EIC, Academic Achievement Class Ranking.
Good evening, Mr. Montemayor and members of the audience. We're just bringing this policy just to kind of clean this up. I know that you attended all the graduations, but at the graduation ceremonies, you notice that we've already changed our practices with regards to cum laude, summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and so forth. So we had those particular areas, so now we're just cleaning up the policy to remove what is struck through. We do have a weighted scale as opposed to the GPA score that we used to have prior to, and that is reflected in this new policy. And the reason that we're bringing it to you now is because it was the last group, the class of 2022 was the last group that graduated with the older requirements.
The GPA?
Well, no, they still had that summa and cum laude, and that's
Okay.
what you heard, with a weighted average
I've
of
never heard that before in the other graduations.
10600.
This was the first graduating class
That
was the
went through
first
this.
cohort.
that came in with this policy.
And so these changes are going to be applied to the
Correct.
current freshmen that are coming in? Or
Actually, everybody else are juniors on down, seniors actually, incoming seniors.
And they're aware of it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, we had PSAs on that.
And have litigation soon. It's almost like cheerleading, dance,
Actually, Mr. Montemayor, it's actually a simpler system because it's a weighted average, so they can just take their grades and find their average, and that pretty much tells them where they're at, to see if they meet that summa cum laude
That was it, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then we have item C, first and final reading of board policy, BE local board meetings.
Yes, Mr. Montemayor and members of administration, we also brought this item to the business committee. This is the item that we presented to you last month, the changes that we're proposing to the board policy regarding agendas and meetings. I haven't received any feedback since then, so we'll be bringing this for approval at the regular meeting next week.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And the approval of the 2022-2023 Student Code of Conduct. Ms. Perez.
Thank you. We have our two most significant changes to the Student Code of Conduct. One of them is on vaping and vaping accessories. We are requesting, this was a committee that met on April 13th. It included parents, students, and administrators from all divisions, elementary, middle, and high school. And it was unanimously recommended that we move any type of possession of a nicotine, tobacco, or vaping device to a discretionary STEP Academy placement. We have seen quite a bit of new cases coming up, and the contents, whether it's 0.003% of THC, or does it have Delta 8, does it have anything like that, we don't have a laboratory within X number of miles that could test us. So this would certainly help administration deal with these type of scenarios. And that's one of the most significant changes that we have this coming year. Our students, we've seen a drop in the use of marijuana. However, we have seen an increase in the use of vaping cartridges and so on and so forth.
I understand the lab issue, and even the district attorney and the county attorney are thinking twice about prosecuting these kinds of cases. It costs $1,000 each to test each case, to verify if it's marijuana or not. It's $1,000 each case. So I can understand that, but
we'll still be working collaboratively with law enforcement, our UISD police. They do use their NIC kits, and it can give us an alert if it does have THC, which is the same component of marijuana.
is there going to be a uniform discretion across the district, or are we going to have Alexander do one thing and United South do something different?
So if some contraband is collected by an administrator, and if we have reason to believe that it does contain THC, then we can move forward with a mandatory placement at STEP or discretionary to JJAEP for being in possession of a controlled substance, because THC is technically a controlled substance.
Yes.
However, if we don't have that reason to believe that it contains THC or the marijuana oil, then we can go ahead and revert back to our discretionary, which is any type of vaping device. So there will be a little more leeway for administrators. However, once we have reason to believe it might involve some criminal activity, we do have to inform law enforcement as well.
Okay.
And then the other change that we're proposing is using a camera, cell phone, and a locker or shower facility and or restroom area. And we will be adding the words when there isn't an emergency. We have some children that don't want to enter our restrooms in the schools. They're afraid that someone might take a picture, someone might record them, and we want to discourage the use of cell phones in those private areas. They should be private as is. And those are the two most significant. We do have another one, and it's a minor offense, and it's prohibiting a child from performing any type of service or skill which they're not licensed for. So we have some children that want to be barbers, and they want to, show their skills off with their friends at school. So they want to trim their hair and style it and so on and so forth. And we're just afraid that the equipment they're using isn't being sanitized properly, and that may cause other problems. And, a child coming home with their hair, a different hairstyle may cause some problems. So that's just a minor offense that we're recommending we add there. And that pretty much covers all of our significant changes. There are some other minor changes, but these would probably be the most impactful in the student discipline. Any questions or comments?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 4, adjournment. Thank you, everyone, for